Welcome back. Now, from cosmetics to cooking, shea butter is popular and provides an income to millions of women across the Sahel. Emily Eob reports from Ivory Coast, where women are turning shea butter into a thriving industry.
It's harvest season for karité or shea in northern Ivory Coast, and just like every year, Alice Kone picks up the fallen fruit. She processes the kernel in the traditional way her grandmother taught her. It will take her hours of hard work to make the shea butter that will then be sold at the local market.
Sometimes shea butter pays well, and we don't need to do anything else. But when the harvest isn't good, we have to get by with other products.
Like Kone, most women in the shea industry in Ivory Coast work independently and sell locally. But shea butter is in high demand internationally for use in cosmetics or as a substitute for cocoa butter in chocolate. Neighboring Burkina Faso and Ghana are among the world's leading exporters. Burkina Faso earns an estimated $33 million annually exporting shea. Ivory Coast is trying to catch up. In this village, women have teamed up in a shea co-op.
When you work in a group, there are lots of ideas, and also financial backers can come help us. We have received some assistance, funding capital. They built us a warehouse. If you work alone, people can't help you. They can't build a warehouse for every woman.
In some fields in the area, a new kind of shea tree is also being planted. This kind is more productive than the traditional wild type, and the country now has 2 mechanical processing units. 2 years ago, the government began working to structure the shea sector, an effort spearheaded by Ali Keita.
As soon as we have a strong cooperative structure, we will have clients in China, Europe, and the United States. If we manage to create an interprofessional organization, it will allow the country to export shea butter internationally.
Keita is also pushing for more regional cooperation among shea butter producing countries. Emily Eob for VOA News in Korogo, Ivory Coast.
A different industry is trying to survive in Uganda. That's street vending. In Kampala, more and more goods and services have been taken to the streets due to higher taxes on arcade businesses. Reporter Francis Tumwekwasize reports.
These are sights and sounds of Central Business Center of Kampala City. Street and roadside traders call to passers-by in hopes of selling their commodities. Commodities ranging from clothes, shoes, cosmetic products to foodstuffs are sold along the streets. Street vending is illegal, according to Kampala City Council Authority, but this has not stopped more and more traders from storming the streets. We've decided to come here because of high tax that is levied on commodities sold in shopping arcades. City Council is not fair to us because they charge us the same amount they charge those with big businesses. And rent for space in shopping arcades are very expensive. Beauty services are the latest services that have been taken on to Kampala streets. Services like manicure, foot massage, and scrubbing are done on street pavements, sidewalks, and at bus stops. In the recent past, these services were only sought for in places like saloons and health clubs in Kampala, and left for few well-to-do people. 27-year-old Mulindwa Alafat says that beauty service has both brought services closer to the people and at an affordable cost to many. The type of our customers cannot afford charges in the beauty salons. In saloons, they charge 50,000 Uganda shillings, but for us, we charge only 20 shillings for the same service. Affordability and easy access to services has attracted many people. Just like other street vendors, City Council authorities have started cracking down these new entrants on the streets. City Council authority disturbs us a lot. They want us to go back to the shopping arcades, which is difficult for me because I can only find my customers here at the city square. Research shows that about 3/4 of Kampala city's labor force makes a living in such informal economic activities. Until taxes on goods and services are made affordable to small and micro enterprises and proper regulations are put in place, the running battle between street vendors and city authorities will most likely remain. Francis Tumyekwasize for VOA Kampala, Uganda.
Now, lots of stories of individuals making their way in the world this week. The images from the Olympics in Rio are beautiful, but Brazil is in the grip of economic crisis. Ordinary Brazilians are feeling the pinch, especially those in the slums called the favelas. VOA's Jeff Swikert reports.
Huberto Sousa spent most of his life renting beach chairs to tourists on Copacabana Beach. Then in October 2010, he decided to open a bar in the favela Cantagalo, where he was born and raised.
I always wanted to work for myself rather than to work for others because I'm lazy and I don't want a boss getting on my nerves. And this is why I would be able to choose my own hours, earn my own money, instead of earning it for someone else.
Known in the neighborhood as the King, Huberto opened the King's Castle, and business took off. 2010 was a unique moment in Brazilian history. The economy was booming, and many Brazilians moved out of poverty and into the middle class. Between 2003 and 2013, the median household income grew by 87% in real terms. But the good times didn't last.
The good times were when the middle-class people from down there would come and socialize with the people from the favela, and it was cool because it was a mix of those people. That was the best time, but it started to drop off about 2014, and people would say they don't have the money.
Brazil's economy hit a wall. Some blame rising debt and cuts in government spending. Others think of it as a convergence of economic forces, cuts in spending, consumption, and investment. Blame aside, Brazilian economist Rodrigo Magalhães says the impact was felt hardest among people who had recently moved up into the middle class.
When the recession began, it broke the expectation of these people because in the last 10 years they had seen the situation steadily getting better. And then it all collapsed, you know.
Public services like hospitals and public schools also have been hit hard. Here at the Amaro Cavalcante School in Rio, the sign on the gate says the struggle has only just started. Across Brazil, teachers like Fabiola Camargo have gone on strike, and students have been occupying schools for weeks.
We have not had a raise since 2014. The occupations are supporting the strikes just as much as the strikes are supporting the occupations because they both were wanting improvements in education. It is as if the federal government and the city of Rio wants to stop investing in schools.
Unemployment in urban areas is reaching 8%, and Brazil's GDP is expected to dip another 2% this year. Economists don't see any quick solution, a reminder that while the favela Cantagalo may have a beautiful ocean view, the outlook isn't always pretty. Jeff Swikert, VOA News, Rio de Janeiro.
Well, food security, education, economics, and development. That's the goal of the so-called Feeds Advocacy Initiative, bringing business leaders from the African diaspora together at a forum in Washington to brainstorm better ways of doing business on the continent. Reporter Maria Bird has more.
Feeds Advocacy Initiative and Gallup World Poll convened a business forum on the African diaspora, focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises.
The how is really why the advisory council was set up, was really to help the U.S. government learn from our perspectives, from the private sector perspectives, how to truly engage trade and business development in Africa.
You've got 80% of people in a number of countries saying it is what I want to do, the ease of doing business. I want to be able to do business in my country.
This event had several major partners who are investing in the continent of Africa.
We're talking about two things today. I mean, one is about small businesses and entrepreneurship all throughout Africa. But the other one is we hope people leave here very inspired, because right now, according to the Gallup poll, we see that entrepreneurial energy is incredibly high all throughout Africa. So we hope that they leave incredibly inspired.
I would hope that that people learn about all the great things that are happening in Africa, and with Gallup's interest in specifically at handling and giving proper information about where we are on the continent, I hope that people are more elucidated about how great things are right now on the continent.
The research provided today will give all those investors and business entrepreneurs insight into where the next innovation lies in the continent of Africa.
It's time now for another break. Before we go, a reminder to visit our website, channelstv.com, for all the latest information day or night. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. Still to come on Africa 54. They are South Africa's trolley men, collectors of recyclables, turning trash into cash. And they've gotten a boost for their efforts. That story after the break.